Welcome, everybody. We are just waiting for everybody to join in. Just going to give it a minute here. Welcome, welcome. I think we see some familiar names. Excellent. Good to see everybody. Well, I think we can go ahead and get started. Well, welcome everybody to the Space Grand Challenge information session. This is our last and final information session before the big day next month. We are excited. We have the full team here to kind of talk through different aspects of the game. For those of you who have attended one of these information sessions previously, we have some new information about registration, so we're happy to answer some questions in a bit here. But we'll start with the usual routine, which is giving you some context about what the challenge is, and jumping right into showing you the challenge as well as what to expect on game day. So welcome, and let's jump right into it. A great place to start, obviously, is just to make sure everyone knows who's on the call. I want to make sure that you all meet the team. So I'll introduce myself, and my colleagues will introduce themselves in just a second. My name is Kayvon Chinichian. I'm the Senior Director of Development here at the CCI. I will be acting as the MC for the afternoon. And I will popcorn this over to Henry.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Nice to see all of you. I work over here at the California Cyber Security Institute. I'm the technical advisor, and they call me also the Germ, or the Global Range Master. So welcome everybody today, and super stoked to be here, and can't wait to play very soon, very soon.
I'll go next. Oh,
pass it over, sorry, to Danielle. Sorry, this is Danielle. Go ahead.
No worries. Thanks, Henry. Danielle Borelli, Operations Coordinator for the California Cybersecurity Institute. So stoked to be here. I know it's my first and last one, but excited to see the engagement today, as well as talk more about the competition, help get you ready for game day, which is coming up really soon, as well as help get you registered. So I'll leave it over to McKenna.
Hi, everyone. I'm McKenna Downing, and I'm the Marketing and Communications Coordinator here at the CCI. So I'm helping with all of the outreach and kind of back end campaign stuff, our Clue campaign as well. So we're really excited to have you all here and participating in the game.
Awesome. And folks, we would love to see where you all are calling from. So feel free to drop in your chat, what city, state you're coming in, or what country you're tuning in from. We'd love to see it. Of course, we'd love to give you a little shout out. So McKenna, next slide, please. As we kind of get started, we want to just remind, as you can tell, registration is open, and we want to make sure we're going to bookend this conversation around registration. So the link up here is the registration link. Make sure to tune in and get your teams registered. At the end of this call, Danielle is going to walk folks through the process and answer any questions about that. I'd also offer that as you are tuned in for this, to jump on our social media channels. We have tons of content out there about the challenge, including a Clue campaign. So if you want to get ahead for the challenge and get some extra points, I would say a little birdie's told me you want to check out our social media pages to get ahead. So we're on all of the major channels: Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch. And we have a message from our director, Bill Britton, who is the Vice President of Information Technology and the Cal Poly CIO. And he serves as the director of the California Cybersecurity Institute. So before we get started, let's hear what Bill has to say.
Welcome to the annual Space Grand Challenge. I'm Bill Britton, Vice President of Information Technology at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I could not be more happy to be welcoming you here to this event today. You are in for an amazing challenge. We're going to test you. We're going to question you. We're going to interview you. We're going to make sure that when you're done with this competition, you have exercised your brain, you have learned new skills, and you become our future. You know, it's really interesting. I just returned from a conference on cybersecurity and low Earth orbiting LEO satellites, mostly CubeSats. I was amazed by the size of the audience and the lack of full transparency and knowledge about cybersecurity for small platforms. Is it too costly? Is it really necessary? What's the risk? All these are the kinds of questions that they're asking in these conferences. And yet, amazingly, you're competing with exactly those kind of problem sets in this challenge. I am most excited for what our future brings, because I know that you'll achieve great things in this challenge. You'll learn things, and you will become the future and protect those platforms for us. You're going to have a ton of fun. I want you to have the most fun possible. I want you to stay safe and think about your cyber future. Thanks for coming to Cal Poly, and thanks for being part of the Space Grand Challenge. Britain out.
Thank you, Bill. And so, as Bill mentioned, you know, the Space Grand Challenge is a fantastic opportunity where, you know, we're going to challenge you to become cybersecurity experts and have the opportunity to learn more about how the nexus between cyber and space. I want to kind of give a first an initial kind of background to the fact that who we are as an institution. So the California Cybersecurity Institute, we're part of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. And CCI, our acronym for the Institute, is an exemplar of the learn by doing culture that you see throughout the Cal Poly campus, the pedagogy that drives everything at our university. Our mission is to bolster cyber defense, and we do that through three distinct ways. We do it through trainings for the state. We do it through the accelerant that we act as for the university towards the Learn by Doing mission. And finally, we do it through empowering K through 12 initiatives. And the Space Grand Challenge is a member part of that Empower initiative. And we're thrilled to have you folks learning more about it today. I'm going to pass it over to Henry here to tell you, what the Space Grand Challenge is.
All right, thanks,
Henry?
Kayvon. So super stoked. So what is the Space Grand Challenge? So one of the things that I like to think about is an electronic game of Clue. And what you're doing is trying to find that person of interest, and we're sprinkling space dust all over, as well as trying to get you to understand forensics, cybersecurity, and space. So it's an international competition, and it's open to middle and high school. We're really proud this year because it's going global. We're going to have people from across the planet, which is really amazing to have other people competing with you from different continents. And so on October 7th through the 9th, October 7th, the first day, is going to be our opening ceremony, and that'll be Friday afternoon. And we just kind of talk a little bit about, make sure everybody's registered, everything's going great, talk a little bit more about the game and get you prepared. And then on the 8th, on October 8th from 9 to 3, we will have it turned on, the game, and all participants will be able to play on Discord, as well as be able to get into the Unity rooms, Unity created rooms, as well as the wonderful AWS instance. And so these teams compete, usually teams of 6 or less. 3 is the minimum because it's just a long competition and there's lots to do. And they'll compete basically in a virtual competition, and you're going to solve the mission Collexium Z850, where a satellite hacked cybercrime has happened. And just to give you kind of some hints and drop stuff, there's a present curriculum that you're able to grab for free. And we'll put it in the link in a minute, and there's always on our webpage. But students expect to gain some of the skill levels in coding languages like Python, Java, a little bit of JavaScript, some C++, reading some code. And what I mean by reading code is challenges, encryption, different ways to look at numbers, letters, and and ciphers, data structures. We're going to look at hashes, hash tables. We're going to look at heap and just give you a hint of that. Heap has to do with memory. We're going to look at design patterns. We're going to look at code injection. We're also going to look at space and the trajectory of how space mechanics and orbital dynamics work. Again, we're going to look at denial of service attacks. We're also going to look at Wireshark, wireless security, WPA2, 3, WP. We're going to look at malware. We're going to make sure that you understand what a VPN is, or a virtual private network as well. So lots of things we're combining, mostly space and cybersecurity together to make sure that you leave with some skills. And we'll also be giving you a wonderful digital badge that you'll be able to use and add on to your actual LinkedIn or your website or your email footer. I think it's called footer, sorry. Signature, sorry. I'm a little bit slow today. So that's what it's going to kind of look like and what it's about. Right now, what we'd like to do is kind of show you what it looks like inside and kind of give you a quick trailer overview of what it is. Thanks, McKenna.
Welcome to the Space Grand Challenge. Next decade, they say, is going to be the decade of tech. And in that decade of tech, people like you are going to become really important. The Space Grand Challenge is an esports international competition open to middle and high school students from across the globe. Teams from all over the world will compete in a 3D immersive environment that uses gamification to enhance gameplay. The network connection to the controls linking ground control to the satellite network has been breached. Mission Colossium. The future of the safety of this multi-million-dollar company is at stake. We need your help.
All right, again, we couldn't do that without our sponsors. Sorry about the little hiccup there with the sound, but you could basically get the gist of it. All right, the next one, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that are attainable and translatable skills from the Space Grand Challenge. Most employers out there want to make sure that you have digital literacy, cyber literacy, and cloud literacy. One of the main ones that we're transferring from in space is from analog to actual digital. And the cloud is helping make sure that that actually happens. We also intersperse data science into the game, as well as information technology, and again, cybersecurity. We're also going to look at a little bit of machine learning and, of course, AI, or augmented, choking on myself. A little bit of AI. Next slide. So what to expect on game day? So all day Saturday, as I spoke a little bit about, we'll actually have the competition from 9 to 3. So everyone will jump online, we'll flick the game on, if you will, and students will be progressing through it. But what's really awesome about it is we're going to have Twitch, a live stream of Twitch going on at that time. And we have casters that will be talking about exactly what's happening going into the game with students, kind of talking a little bit with them and showing how the gameplay is happening. And we want to make sure all your machines, your PCs, laptops have the minimum requirements. We're going to have live scoring, but not final scoring until after the competition. We'll also have, again, our opening and closing ceremonies hosted over Zoom on Friday and Sunday to talk a little bit more. And we're hoping to have some really, really amazing special guests to come talk to you all about that. And during the Twitch stream, we also have amazing interviews with really, really amazing people that are working in this field. Next slide. So this one, I just wanted to kind of show you just a little bit, and we don't have to have the sound on if you don't want, but basically what I want to do to walk through is these are Unity developed rooms. When you're playing video games currently on a PS5, PS4, maybe if you're old school, or any of the other ones, Xbox, you're going to find out that these rooms are actually created in the 3D environment, and Unity is what that is. And these are some of the rooms that the students will actually, or participants actually cruise around. We have a knock sock. We actually have a hacker hideout. We also have a control center. We have an observatory this year that we're super excited about. And what happens is students walk around these environments and go up to computers that may have a Python puzzle on them, that may have to talk about binary, to be able to get you prepared and trying to collect clues that actually tell you who is the actual person of interest. And this one is our Moonshot Satellites control room. And there's lots of great challenges in there. We're really proud. And again, this is all Cal Poly student created. So really proud of this and super stoked on that. Next slide. So this one, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Unity rooms in a little bit more depth. So these are the places that you're going to end up going, the locations of interest, and locations are literally the rooms themselves. And we're revisiting really quick here the Moonshot Satellites. And you can see some of these computers aren't on, but in the game they will be. Some of them have puzzles on them. Some of them have remote desktop where you actually go in remote desktop actually into another virtual machine or an Amazon instance, and you actually go into those and do some challenges. So we're going to walk around really quick just to kind of see what it feels like. And again, you just need a mouse and a keyboard to be able to walk through these. And it's just kind of showing you a little preview about Moonshot Satellites and what it actually looks like. In 2 seconds here, we're going to walk over to the end of this actual computer, and you're going to see one of the challenges that we have. So here's one of the challenges, and you can see when you go up to it, it actually prompts you and says puzzle. So this one is challenge 2. Once in orbit, the spacecraft will have 2 main forces exerting their grab onto it. And then you would choose the actual correct answer and you would get a flag. Or we're playing a very similar capture the flag or esports like. And so what's happening right now is he's picking the right one. And when you find the actual right one, it tells you the correct one. And the correct answer to this one is the top one on the left, the tangential velocity and the gravitational pull. And that's correct. And then it gives you the flag, and that's when you actually put that in. Okay, so just to kind of give you a sense of what some of the puzzles look like, let's go to the next slide. All right, and this last one is a real quick video, and I just wanted you to kind of see some of the cool things that we've developed in the space arena revolving around this. We use AIG's systems toolkit. And this has about 85, 84 satellites that are actually on this. And what's happening is you're trying to actually follow the thread and follow exactly what happened, what time the satellite was actually compromised or hacked. So it's a really great puzzle because what's happening is you're actually going through this data, looking at data science and looking at the polarity of actually where the satellite is. And you're trying to actually figure out, because there's clues interspersed within the game to try to kind of figure out where it's actually been hacked. And those are the satellites. You can just see some of the round ring circles, and those are some of them that you can see. And in just a second, you'll see a picture of the piece of data that you have to scrub through to actually see that. And there's some of it right there. So you can see to the left there, this is a large document that shows you during the times, and you have to kind of try to figure out which one was compromised or hacked. Okay, next slide. And then last, I want to hand it back over to Kayvon to talk a little bit more about our additional resources that are available for you. Again, we will put in the chat in a momentito the actual curriculum and Space Grand Challenge link.
Perfect. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you.
So, just to, like I said, I was going to bookend this constantly with the same thing. Our website has all the information that you need. That includes what you need in terms of the registration, which my colleague Danielle will show in just a moment. The storyline, what you need in terms of software and hardware, and of course, most importantly, the training curriculum. So all of that is available. And we'll be, of course, sharing it via email as well, but you could check it out today, right now, as you're looking at this webinar. You can go to our Space Grand Challenge at the CCI website, and it's all there. In terms of other resources for this year, we wanted to make sure that we were as accommodating as possible. This year, we will be offering the competition in Spanish as well. And we will have resources for the hearing and visually impaired participants too. So the game will have both of those in available. And if there are any questions, please feel free to reach out to any of us on the call or at cci@calpoly.edu. Next slide. Now, I know that some of you on the call today are teachers, administrators, possibly coaches, possibly parents. First off, just a round of applause to all of you, for all the hard work that you do. Thank you so much. This competition happens because of you. And so we are thrilled that we're a member part of your plans and helping students grow. So again, a special thank you to you all. I want to emphasize, because you are involved, you can help prep your students and participants pretty much in any shape or form, all the way up to game day. What that means is on game day, though, you cannot help the players. They're on their own. So like any coach, the coach can't be on the basketball court. But nonetheless, the materials that we have available on our website, please feel free to review it. Please feel free to provide your own materials if you think there's some other information that you think would be super helpful. Likewise, if you think there's some stuff that we should be including, feel free to shoot us an email. We'll love to hear from you. Again, cci@calpoly.edu. I do want to make one quick comment about opportunities for volunteers as well. This is a big undertaking for us here at the CCI. And on the day of game day, we do have a lot of roles and we'll need technical support. A game like this being run internationally with a plethora of instances oftentimes requires a lot of hands on deck. So feel free to reach out to me or any of us on this call to learn more about how you could volunteer if that's something of interest. Now, on game day itself, if you're not a volunteer, we ask you to kick back and enjoy the Twitch channel. It will be live. We have a special program set up. My colleagues have been working on getting folks to come in and do little interviews, spot interviews about the role of cybersecurity and the job market, cybersecurity and the threat environment, and everything in between there. And then, of course, we're going full on esports. So we'll be tuning into the game itself and watching the players, live and watching them see if they can figure out who breached the satellite. And so we welcome you to do that. And again, if there are any questions, feel free to shoot us a note. Next slide, please. And with that, I'm actually going to pass it over to Danielle.
Cool. Thank you, Kayvon. Well, thank you again, everyone, for being here today. We're at I think the most exciting part. You've learned all about the competition. You got to see some cool role play and some aspects and features of it. And now we just get to talk about what it takes to get registered, to get signed up, and to get going. So as it mostly says on the slide here, participants can register today. In about a minute, I'm going to show you what that looks like. If you can go back real quick, I'm going to show you what that looks like. A question just popped up in chat, and this is actually perfect timing. So the question was, can we have one individual team? So meaning like we have one person for one team. Unfortunately, we do have a minimum of 3 requirement, maximum of 6. The reason being is that the competition itself is pretty large. There's a lot of different flags to capture. There's a lot of different aspects to complete. And we have determined that it just wouldn't be as fun of an experience or as helpful as an experience if it was less than 3. So minimum 3, maximum 6, and at least 1 adult coach per team. And of course, if you have multiple teams as a coach, as a mentor, you're allowed to register those as well. I believe, I think last year we had 1 coach that had multiple, I think up to 20 teams, and it went really well, especially in the virtual environment. So just to recap, it again is 3 people per team, maximum 6, and that is to enhance your gameplay and your experience to the max. So otherwise, if it's just one person, we cannot have you compete by yourself. But I think getting in more than one person involved is really easy. Just ask your friends, ask some teammates, ask some classmates. There's all the resources are there to help you get engaged, to help get you started. So it shouldn't be too much of a lift. And even if this is your first competition, it's a great experience to get your feet wet, to see what it's all about as far as cybersecurity competitions go, especially with the digital forensics lens. So next point is all students are welcome. So whether you're from a public school, a private school, you're in charter school, you're homeschooled, or you're a part of an organization like Girl Scouts, etc., we want you to participate, barring those minimum requirements of at least 3 people, maximum 6, and 1 coach on your team. Some of the other requirements is that you at least have to be in the age range to compete. So at least 11 years old and then upwards to 17, 18 if you're still enrolled in high school. If you're 18 and you just graduated and you're going to college, unfortunately that will not work. You still have to be in high school. So if you're 18 years old in school still going to classes, that still counts. And yes, it's just between those ages 11 to 18. And of course, we highly encourage as coaches or captains or mentors for their team that you take the lead on doing the registration yourself, or at least sitting down with the team while they fill out the information. Teams register together, so it's not individual, it's together as a team, as I'll show you in just a second here. And before we get to the actual showing you of where to register, how to access it, what the form looks like, just want to remind everyone that if you are following us on social media, that we do have a clue campaign happening as we speak. You can even go back to different social media posts to see what those clues are. And those who get those clues actually will get an advantage, will get some help when it comes to game day. And so you don't want to miss out on that. And it does help that you are registered so that we can match the person who completed those clues with those who are registered on the actual competition site. So with that, I will go ahead and take over and share screen. Okay. Sorry, I almost hit stop recording, my bad. Okay. Hopefully everyone can see this. This is the website that we've been talking about verbally and in the chat. Here is where most of the information you're going to need, actually all the information you're going to need, whether it's to register a team, to train, to get technical specs and resources, etc. So also to connect to any of our social media and our Twitch channel for the day of broadcast. But speaking of registration, so we've got it right at the top. You don't have to look anywhere. You just click on this button right here. It'll take you to this page. Very simplified form with a lot of key, fantastic information for you. So we've got a quick description of what the Space Grand Challenge is. We've got event details about what to expect. We do have different divisions for beginner and for advanced. So again, if this is your first time coming to the competition, or it's your first cybersecurity competition as a whole, this is really a great event for you as well. And to answer some questions as I see here, yes, all the materials to prep and help you get ready are accessible on our website. Moving right down along on the registration form, we've got our ethics statement. So what we're here all about, rules of conduct. These are incredibly important. We do ask that you read each one of them just so you're aware of expectations for characteristics and behaviors, because it's a virtual event and because you're competing against other teams, and it's going to be largely most of the conversations and work is going to be hosted on Discord. We do ask and we do require that you have good characteristics, good behavior, so that it makes a fun, rewarding, enriching experience for everyone. So please read the rules of conduct. They're super important and helpful for you. And as we move along down here, very simple, very quick, just your school name. And again, if you're associated with a homeschool organization or charter school or different educational program, just list that there instead. Region's important for our back-end support, so please be accurate on that. Same with time zone. Team location, here's some questions that you can fill out. You can be as detailed or as quick as you want to. We're just looking to see where you're at in the realm of cybersecurity competitions. And this is, I think, one of the more important ones is, what is your team name? What is your identity as a team? Make sure to choose an awesome, appropriate, fun one, make it unique and make it fun for you guys and that you can remember for the next competition or for days and years to come. And right here, so you can see that there must be at least 3 team members, maximum 6. So you would just type in 3. We'll just do 3 today. And you can see already that there's more part of the form that fills out. So first you would take care of your academic level and then your competition level, whether you're beginner or advanced. We'll need those details from your coach to make sure those are filled out as well. And again, coaches can have more than one team. So as you're registering teams, it does have to be one form per team. It can't just be all of them all together. We do max out at those 6 student player information collection forms. So for each team, it's got to be different form, but you can keep your name the same. And of course, as students go through and fill this out, or you fill it out for your students, very basic information, you know, first, last name, email, age, all things that help us to determine how we're going to best make the competition a good experience for you. And then as you go through, fill that out, there's just a couple extra questions, parent and guardian name per person, as well as just general, yes, I've read the rules, and yes, I may or may not need support. So simple as that. If there's any questions, please feel free to share them in the chat. And again, just to remind you, yes, the registration form is live. It's open today. We highly, highly encourage you to register this moment, this day, this week. It's going to help us prep and prepare you. The sooner you register, the sooner you can get more information about the competition and some back-end details as far as getting onto Discord, as far as getting the registration information for the instances and for connection purposes. So please take care of that today. We want to see your names and your faces and get you all hooked up to get you better prepared for game day. So with that, I'll leave it over to Kayvon to close things out.
Kayvon, before we do that, can I answer a quick question? From Robert Woodson, the guest. And the coach question is, the curriculum is pretty intense, 144 hours, and there's a large number of programs that ask students to download. Is there a beginner set of software? Are there some videos that you can do? And first, I would say to answer that question, I guess that the question disappeared. But anyway, in the first part set of when you go to Thinkific, the course, if you look at mission number 1, it talks about lessons 1, 2, and 3. There's practice challenges. There is why is cybersecurity important for everyone. There is also a beginner CTF training and resources. So number 1, I would go through some practice challenges. There's a cybersecurity lesson, 1, 2, and 3. So just go through some of those as well. And as far as downloading, I would take a look at Autopsy. It's a very light lift for any software to be downloaded. And what you'll gain in that is understanding forensics for a mobile phone, as well as looking on a PC or a Mac or whatever hard drive you're actually doing forensics on. So I think that would definitely get you started. And there is training for the mobile forensics as well as the PC or Windows forensics as well. And the last is a very simple program called Wireshark. And that teaches you how packets travel across a network. And that training is also on here for free as well. And they give you a free PCAP and you can take a look at it. So I hope it answered your question. His name is gone, so my bad, but I hope that answered your question, and great question.
Thank you, Henry. As I mentioned, we're always going to put an emphasis on registration. So again, if you have any questions, please do jump in and ask us. And of course, our email is cci@calpoly.edu. As one thing I want to just share with folks, it's, you know, in terms of many of you who are new to the role of gamification and cybersecurity, we will be having another webinar. It's more substantive in terms of conversation in September, on September 22nd. That's a Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. The webinar is looking at what the connection is between gamification and cybersecurity careers. We have our very own Bill Britton, director of the CCI and Cal Poly CIO, sharing his experiences. And we also are pleased to announce that Jonathan Nguyen Duai of Fortinet, who is a vice president and global field CISO, will be joining to share his experiences on how that all works together and how games and games like the Space Grand Challenge are helpful in generating the pipeline and interest with young students going into cyber and technology careers. So I just want to put that little plug in for folks as you all kind of collect your questions. McKenna, next slide. As folks are kind of piling in, I just wanted, as another special thanks and gratitude to our sponsors. Our Space Grand Challenge is completely free, and it's only free because of our sponsors' generosity, providing us the ability to create the instances, have our students be able to build these instances, and to be able to put together a program like this on an annual basis. So we want to just thank our sponsors, Fortinet, Elementrix, Lockheed Martin, as well as our constellation partners, AWS, JPL, the Foundation for the Future, the United States Space Force, Space Systems Command, and NSSA. Next slide, please. And I'll stop there and welcome any questions that folks have. Please let us know. We'll the conversation is open. Thank you so much. Well, I've listed our email and contact information here. I do highly recommend that folks follow us on our social media as well. So register, follow us on social media, and shoot us a note if you have any questions. But we're going to stay on the line and answer any questions. And I see some stuff in the chat. So
They wanted the slide back, the registration slide.
Oh. There you go, folks. Let's see. And we'll be sharing an email later this week that will also have all of this information, including a recording of this webinar. We'll be sure to share with you information related to our social media accounts, as well as the registration form and everything in between. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. But as Danielle showed, everything is right on the website at cci.calpoly.edu. I see a question from Taylor Woodson. Is the event taking place at the CCI building on Camp SLO? So this is a fully virtual event. So you can do it from anywhere. The CCI team will be there on the day of. And of course, if there's an interest in volunteering, please do send us a note and we'll be happy to kind of answer any questions there. But in terms of, is this an event that's in a physical domain? It is not. It is fully virtual. I see a question from Heidi. Hi, Heidi. What are the game participation times on Sunday, October 9th?
So that is going to be our closing ceremony. Teams are not required to come, but it's going to be the ceremony where we find out who the winners are for each of the regions and overall for the global champion. So most teams should want to participate in that. We'll have some guest speakers. We'll do some announcements about next year's challenge, and then we'll be announcing the winners. So it's about an hour commitment overall, but there's no competition that they'll be actually performing. All that's happening on October 8th, Saturday.
And let me see. I see another question from Sam. If I want to be an adult coach and I don't have students, what are the possibilities and what I have to do? Does anyone on the team have an answer?
Yeah. Me, Henry and I both responded and encourage you to reach out to us directly, Sam, so that we can chat about what that may look like as far as helping to support a team. So that'd be easier answered probably offline, but happy to answer that question for you directly.
The ceremonies are usually 45 minutes or so. We do, the opening ceremonies are, I believe, 10 a.m. To 11, and excuse me, on Sunday as well.
That's correct. Yeah. And what we are, the formalized agenda will be coming out very soon as well. A lot of it is based around our speakers and some of the other activities. And so those who are registered and those who are following us on social media and online will be able to see all of that in a very, very soon time frame. Okay.
Perfect. I'm looking through and just seeing. So as a reminder, registration is open. I promised I was going to bookend it on this. So be sure to check it out. Teams need to be a minimum of 3 students, a maximum of 6. And we ask that coaches be the ones that register their teams. But again, should you have a question, something that we didn't cover today, or in the email follow-up that we'll be sending, please don't be bashful. Please share, shoot us a note. One of us will get back to you in a timely manner, and we'll make sure to have you and your teams on in October. We're really excited about this. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.